The International Monetary Fund praises Jamaica's sound macroeconomic policies. Welcome to episode 64 of the Unequal Perspective.
Hello.
So today, we're diving deep into the IMF's latest review of Jamaica's economy.
Right. This is based on their May 7th, 2025 report. It came out after those Article 4 consultations they do.
Ah, yes, the checkups, where they talk to pretty much everyone, is that right?
Yep.
Government, business folks, community groups.
Exactly. Development partners, too. They try to get a really well-rounded view.
Okay, so our mission today. Let's try and unpack what the IMF actually found.
Yeah, what's the substance? Why does it matter for Jamaica? And, what does it signal about where the economy is headed, especially with all the challenges they faced recently?
Let's get into it then. Straight away, the IMF sounds, well, quite complimentary.
They do. They highlight a solid track record over the past decade.
Things like reducing public debt, keeping inflation under control.
Anchoring it, yeah.
Yeah.
Strengthening their external position, investing in institutions, and just generally prioritizing that macroeconomic stability.
It sounds like they see a real commitment there, built over time.
That's the key, I think, the sustained effort. It's not just a one-off. And they really praised how Jamaica handled the recent global shocks and, importantly, natural disasters.
That suggests a certain resilience, doesn't it?
Yeah.
In how they manage the economy.
It does, which kind of leads us to the bump in the road, that GDP contraction in the last fiscal year, 2024-25.
Right, but that wasn't about bad policy, was it? It was more external factors.
Precisely. The main culprits, according to the Ministry of Finance back in February 2025, were Hurricane Beryl in July 24 and then Tropical Storm Raphael in November. They projected about a 0.7% decline for the fiscal year because of that. The first half of the year was hit quite hard, a 1.6% real GDP drop.
And Hurricane Beryl alone caused significant damage, I remember reading. Something like US $200 million.
That's the estimate, yeah. About 1.1% of GDP, which is, a substantial hit for any economy.
Wow. Where did that hit hardest?
Well, the Planning Institute broke it down. Agriculture and fisheries took a big $8.2 billion loss. And public infrastructure, especially roads, got hit even harder, $18.3 billion. That affects everything.
Absolutely. And then Tropical Storm Raphael came along?
And knocked off another estimated 0.5% in the third quarter. Even tourism, which is so vital, felt the effects.
Okay, so a tough period with the weather. But the IMF isn't predicting continued decline, are they? They expect a recovery.
Yes, the expectation is for things to normalize as those disaster effects fade.
What are the projections looking like?
For this fiscal year, 2025-26, the Ministry of Finance is looking at 2.2% real GDP growth.
Okay.
And the IMF's own at-a-glance numbers are very close. They're forecasting 2.1% growth for the 2025 calendar year. So definitely anticipating a bounce back.
Now, here's a really interesting data point. Despite that GDP dip, unemployment hit a record low, 3.7% in January 2025.
Isn't that something? A historic low. It seems counterintuitive given the contraction, but it happened.
What are the implications of that? It must be good news for poverty reduction?
Oh, absolutely. A low unemployment rate like that is hugely significant. More people working means, generally, better living standards, more economic participation. It adds real dynamism.
And it wasn't just jobs. Inflation also seems to be under control, back within the Bank of Jamaica's target range.
Exactly, that 4-6% range. In January 2025, headline inflation was 4.7%.
Pretty much bang in the middle.
And core inflation, which strips out volatile stuff like food and energy, was even lower at 4.0%.
So the Bank of Jamaica's policies seem to be working there.
The IMF certainly thinks so. They noted the BOJ lowered the policy rate 4 times in 2024 by a total of 100 basis points, down to 6.0%.
Right.
They saw the slowdown was mainly due to those temporary weather shocks, so easing policy made sense, and they held the rate at 6.0% in February 25, showing some confidence.
Okay, another positive sign seems to be the current account. A surplus for 2 years running.
Modest, but yes, a surplus in FY23-24 and FY24-25, that's quite resilient.
What's driving that?
2 main things: strong tourism revenues, even with the storms, and high remittance inflows, money sent home by Jamaicans abroad.
And that helps build up reserves too, I imagine?
It does. Their international reserves have improved, giving them a better buffer against external shocks.
And all this ties into public debt, right? Which is projected to fall quite significantly.
Very significantly. Down to around 65% of GDP by the end of this fiscal year, FY25-26.
That's the lowest in
25 years, and notably below where it was before the pandemic.
That's quite an achievement. How did they manage that, especially with the disaster spending?
Well, it's partly down to the expected primary surplus this year. That means the government's projected to bring in more revenue than it spends before accounting for interest payments on its debt.
Ah, okay. A key indicator of fiscal health.
Definitely. And it reflects just generally prudent fiscal management.
Yeah.
The IMF pointed out how the government managed to roll out support after the storms like the REACH program and the disaster mitigation work.
Right. Those were J$2.3 billion and J$1.3 billion respectively.
Yes, they deployed that support without blowing their overall fiscal targets off course. It shows discipline, but also flexibility.
So having that lower debt burden starting point probably helped give them the space to respond.
Absolutely. It creates that vital fiscal space.
Okay, so the overall IMF message sounds positive.
Yeah.
But they always have recommendations, don't they? What are they suggesting Jamaica focus on now?
They do. While praising the progress, they look ahead. One point is careful management of the public sector wage bill.
Making sure it doesn't squeeze out other spending.
Exactly. Spending on things like infrastructure or education. They also suggest improving the efficiency of public spending. Generally, they mentioned an agile PIFA assessment from June 2024 as a tool for that.
Makes sense. Anything else on the fiscal side?
They recommend strengthening the fiscal responsibility law further, maybe adding an explicit operational debt target set below the current overall limit to provide an even stronger anchor.
Okay. What about monetary policy or the financial sector?
They suggest reforms to deepen the foreign exchange market, allowing for more exchange rate flexibility. That could help monetary policy work even better.
And financial stability.
Key recommendations there include passing the special resolution regime law that's about dealing with failing financial institutions in an orderly way, and continuing to improve the anti-money laundering and counterterrorism financing framework.
You mentioned the government talking about the PLL and RSF earlier. What are those?
Right. Those are IMF programs. The PLL is the Policy Coordination Instrument, and the RSF is the Resilience and Sustainability Facility. Jamaica successfully completing reviews under these shows ongoing engagement and commitment to the supported policy agendas.
Got it. Now, no economic picture is complete without looking at the risks. What downsides did the IMF flag?
They pointed out a few things. Tighter global financial conditions that could make borrowing more expensive.
Always a concern.
Lower growth in key tourist markets. If, say, the US or UK economies slow down, that hits Jamaica's tourism earnings.
Makes sense.
Potential disruptions to global trade are another risk they're watching. And of course, the big one we've already discussed. Jamaica's vulnerability to extreme weather. Floods, hurricanes, even earthquakes are a risk.
That climate vulnerability really stands out, doesn't it? Especially for an island nation.
It really does. It underlines the urgency of building resilience.
So, given those risks and the goal of higher growth, what's being done about the more deep-seated structural issues that might be holding back productivity?
Yeah, the government is working on those supply-side constraints. The IMF report identifies several things contributing to lower productivity historically.
Such as?
High crime rates, although they do note progress there, with a sustained decline thanks to more investment in security.
That's positive.
Barriers to competition in the economy, issues with educational outcomes, infrastructure gaps, and barriers to trade are also mentioned.
That's a challenging list. What specific actions are underway?
Well, increased investment in policing and security, as mentioned. There are efforts to get an unemployment insurance system set up.
A safety net.
Right. Also strengthening employment services, better counseling, job matching, trying to connect people to opportunities more effectively.
What about the green transition? Climate resilience.
There are measures to reduce pollution and incentivize low-carbon tech. And importantly, they're developing a plan to improve national statistics. You need good data to make good policy.
It sounds like a broad effort. And how did the Jamaican government itself react to this whole IMF review?
Very positively, it seems. Based on their own fiscal policy paper, they see the successful IMF reviews as proof of their commitment.
Commitment to
Strengthening institutions, building climate resilience, improving financial oversight. They highlighted their ability to handle shocks without wrecking their budget targets.
So they feel validated.
Pretty much. They stress their dedication to investing in both physical infrastructure and fiscal buffers, especially focusing on climate change. Their goal remains stability and sustainability, but also driving higher growth to fund public services.
And they acknowledge the progress the IMF noted.
Yes, on debt reduction, inflation control, the external balance. They also mentioned wanting to partner more with the private sector, especially on clean energy and climate resilience investments.
So fundamentally, They see this IMF review as an endorsement of their strategy.
That seems to be the clear message, yes, a validation of their policy direction.
Okay, so wrapping this up, the core message from the IMF seems to be a thumbs up for Jamaica's economic management over the last decade, and especially for how they've navigated recent storms, both economic and literal.
That sums it up well. Despite significant headwinds, their consistent focus on sound macroeconomic policies has served them well. But, the IMF's recommendations are also crucial to keep focusing on those structural issues, keep building resilience.
Right, the work isn't done. Which brings us to a final thought for you, our listener.
Considering how vulnerable Jamaica is to climate change and how much its economy relies on tourism, how can the country best use these policy recommendations and its own focus on resilience?
How can they leverage all that to achieve growth that's not just strong, but also sustainable and benefits everyone in the long run?
And what's the role for international partnerships in helping Jamaica achieve that? Something to definitely think about.